Alright, this is a quick video of a manual transmission of a 1992 Accord. The purpose of this video is mainly to help you be able to remove your transmission in case you need to remove it or you need to replace the clutch on your so like I said, this is a 1992 Honda Accord LX manual transmission. Alright, this is a transmission that's out of the vehicle. It's not really great lighting, but I'll show you anyway. This is the side of the transmission that connects to the engine. And this side over here, where my boot is, faces the front of the vehicle. Okay? And this side faces the engine. And here's some stuff in the back. And these are various pieces, do various things. Anyway, to sum it up, is that this thing right here is called, sorry about that, you probably can't even tell I'm pointing at. This thing right here, I'm pushing on, this thing right here, that it's right in here. You can see it on your own vehicle, right inside this boot. It's called a fork, okay? And so if someone says, where's the fork? It's called a clutch fork, I guess. Anyway, you can see how it goes on. It goes on like that, okay? Now you see it over here, clutch fork, right here. All right, mainly, on the side here, it tells you in this book called Haynes Manual, it talks about removing bolts. And you got to get them all. Okay? Now there are, I'm not sure how many, there's one here, one up here. It has a bolt. The bolt goes through here on this side, right here. Where my finger's at. Where the hell is it? There's one right there. Bolt goes through here too, over here. And there's one up here, one right there, one there, and then one down here somewhere, okay? One down here. And then there's some on the back over here. These little bolts I'm tapping. The book says you got to remove 5. Okay? Well, I'm not sure if you can see it real well, but I'm kind of pointing at them. If you have the Haynes book on the 1990 through 1993 book, it will tell you where these bolts are at. It will show, it has a picture in it, at least my book does. Anyway, my fingers right here is one here, one here, one here, one down here. Probably can't see what I'm pointing at. And one here. Okay? Well, I removed 6 bolts. Now I'm not sure what the extra one went to, but you got to have them all out. These connect the transmission, at least some of them connect the transmission to the engine. If you don't get these bolts out, you're not separating the you're not going to be able to get this transmission off away from the engine. So you got to get all of them out, okay? So the book says 5, I removed 6. And over here, the book says that these hoses right here are power steering hoses. It says you don't have to disconnect them to remove the transmission. Yeah, you actually have to disconnect them here. You actually have to separate. There's little clamps on the end of these things that go to other hoses or whatever. You got to disconnect these, because otherwise it's still going to be connected. This part's going to be connected still to other power steering hoses, and you can't get the transmission out. So I'm not sure what the book was saying, but disconnect them. Disconnect them. And I'm going to name some parts here if I can. This right here involves with your steering. I mean, not your steering. Excuse me. Your shifting. The shifting of the vehicle. The manual. When you shift the vehicle with the shift knob, you're messing with what's happening is this is getting messed with, I think, and this thing right here is also getting messed with. These two things. So just so you know. And what the hell is this? This right here I think is called something to do with it's a piece that relates to your clutch fluid, okay? And anyway, this is a piece that I had to remove in order to get the transmission out of the vehicle, because there's a line here, a metal pipe, flexible metal pipe, and there's some kind of hose that goes over into this, or it goes in here too. It is a hose goes over in here somehow. Okay, if you do this job, you know what I'm talking about. Hose somehow will fit here, will rest here, and then this bolt will go through the hose and into this hole. Okay, see a little hole here, has threads inside here. All right, hopefully not confusing you too much. Anyway, and this little bolt right here holds this thing to the transmission. That's what this bolt does. And over here, this is this thing right here is called a power steering speed sensor. This little part right here. They obviously left it on the this is left on the transmission. I suppose you can, but if you want to take it off, here's a bolt here and a bolt here, and screw them, and I think you can pull this piece off. Okay. What else? This thing right here is I think it's right here. This little thing right here, if I can show it to you, is called a backup light switch. So if you ever want to know if your backup lights don't work, this switch is probably bad, or the wiring is bad. Okay, and anyway, I'm not sure what else there is to say. And when you get all these bolts out on this side, you get all these bolts out off this thing right here. Then you can take a floor jack and rock it up and down. You can even, if you want to, take a small screwdriver and place it against wherever you can get a spot, and just place it, and then tap the end of the screwdriver with a hammer, so you can kind of edge it off. You can get the transmission away from the engine. Don't pry, or not hard, because you might break this metal. It's made out of aluminum, I believe, and it can break. And if it does, I guess you can always glue it back together. I'm going to show you something else real quick. When they talk about a clutch bearing, this little thing down here is a clutch bearing. When I showed you that fork earlier, that clutch fork, it's related to that clutch fork. Okay, and this little stack right here I'm pointing at is I think this is the clutch disc right here, and below it there's another piece. It's called the what the hell they call that thing? I think it's called a drive plate, or some kind of pressure plate. This is called a pressure plate that is below. See, this is a pressure plate, I think, and this is the clutch disc. So you'll need to replace both of these when you replace the clutch. You should replace this too. It's called a clutch bearing, and I don't know what else. This might be something else. Get a clutch kit. Get a kit. There's various kits. Quality of kits is like I think there's like stage 1. When they say stage, I mean it's like a level. So I guess if you get a level, the stage 2, you're getting a higher level, higher ability or something than a stage 1. I think there's stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 that you can buy. They're about the same price. Get them off eBay. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope this helps. Bye.